Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 11 in season number 6 of the NRLOA Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We are here at the Michigan International Speedway for one of the most prestige events of the season. This is the NRLOA 500, a 50-lap race around this 2-mile racetrack in Brooklyn, Michigan. And I do not believe I need to go into explanation on why this is such a prestige event. Of course, the NRLOA is the league that this series runs under, and this is the NRLOA 500. It's a pretty big deal. But anyways, this is the second 2-mile racetrack of this season. The first one was won by a part-time driver in the name of Eric Almenhart. He is in this race along with the other part-time driver who has won this season, Dale Salzman. And when we come to these 2-mile racetracks, the strategy play is a little bit different than it is at other places. Of course, especially when these races used to be just 30 laps long, we could have a guy make it on one stop, while most of them had to come in twice. Now, we might not see that here today, but we might. There's a 50-lap race. It's possible we could see some strategy play, especially if a caution comes out at the specific time. That's how these 2-mile racetracks are. They're a little bit different than the other racetracks because they are a little bit longer, which definitely plays into the strategy. And it can get very interesting if they have to come in, say, with 15 laps to go, because that's about the fuel window here at this racetrack. Anyways, coming into today's event, Ricky Stevenson in the number 38 barely, and I mean barely, holds the points lead in the number 38, 251 points. He still holds it after finishing last at Pocono on Monday, but right behind him, only 2 points behind, is Stuart Gratton. And it was about this time last season where Gratton took the points lead, and Gratton had a very good season number 5, let me tell you that. Trey Bartow is third in the points, 10 points behind. Noah Card's 11 points behind. Jonathan King, Cody Sill, 19 points behind, tied for 5th. Ricky Stevenson, Cody Sill, Al Legacy, Isaac Nichols, our last winner, Caleb Hoffman, Blaine Keys, the Daytona 500 champion, Cameron Garlington, and Matt Dalio are all locked into the chase for season number 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Another chase spot is on the line here today. If a full-time driver wins, well, we might possibly see our first 2-time winner this season, because starting on the pole is a guy who has already won so far this season. That's Blaine Keys in the number 48. We can't get the race started without firing up the engine, so let's head trackside for the command to start the engines here at the Michigan International Speedway.
Race fans, are you ready? Drivers, start your engines!
And a great command there to fire these guys up for the NRLOA 500, one of the crown jewel events of the season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Cameron Garlington and Dale Salzman are 2 of the crown jewel event winners so far. Will we see a third one here today at Michigan? Starting on the pole position in the number 48, it's Blaine Keys, who won at Atlanta earlier this season. He has already locked into the chase, and he's got a good chance of winning here today from starting first in that Hendrick-powered machine. John Andrews and his team, they have not had too good of a season points-wise, but they already got 2 of their guys locked into the chase in Blaine Keys and Matt Dalio. They might get a third one here today. Got John Arndt, a past NRLOA 500 winner, and Elijah Gordon. Matt Dalio's already in, and Elijah Gordon. Both those guys definitely very good drivers. Elijah Gordon, a Michigan native, and of course John Arndt, a past NRLOA 500 champion. Alongside Blaine Keys, it's the number 33 of Jonathan King. Row number 2 sees Jordan Lopez and Jay Jefferson. Row 3 sees Ricky Stevenson, our points leader, and Anthony Lopez. Daniel Bouchard in the 11 starts alongside Coca-Cola 600 champion Dale Salzman, Al Legacy, and Reagan Whitlock in row number 5. We got Noah Cars and Elijah Gordon, a couple of Michigan natives, starting in the 6th row here at the Michigan International Speedway. Ryan Madden, Donovan Dufit, row 7. The top 14 starting positions here for the NRLOA 500. We're going to reset the field so that good old Zachary Fitzwater can start the race in the number 41. And this time, all 40 drivers will begin the race here at the Michigan International Speedway for the NRLOA 500. A see the drivers back in here. A lot of good drivers back in here as well. Caleb Hoffman, the last winner here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And Stuart Gratton on the verge of the points lead. We're just going to have to see how they do in this race. Along with the other 38 drivers, the pace car is pulled off, and the NRLOA 500 is green here at Michigan. Atlanta winner Blaine Keys from the pole will lead lap number 1 here in the NRLOA 500. Number 17 of Jordan Lopez up to second. How about Elijah Gordon? Remember what I said at the beginning there of those Hendrick guys who have not won races this season? We might get a third Hendrick guy to lock themselves into the chase. Well, it might be Elijah Gordon, the Michigan native, running third right now. Caution on the racetrack. And a little skirmish between Donovan Duthit, Reagan Whitlock, and Adam Lewis. So a quick yellow here at the Michigan International Speedway. And you see the way these guys are racing. Not surprised that we have seen a yellow this early on here today. We went caution-free at Pocono, and we nearly went caution-free at Charlotte. But a lot of the races this season have had early cautions like this one. But thankfully, it does appear that it was a minor incident between these two rookie drivers and the veteran of Reagan Whitlock. So, good thing there. We should have most of the guys still in contention to win here today. And this is going to play into strategy. This very early caution, they're going to probably come in now. But if I'm one of these guys back in here, I might want to stay out and gain some track position. Of course, these guys trying to figure out what position they're going to be in coming down the pit lane. But they should figure that out before they reach the pit lane, and we should not have any issues. So, Blaine Keys in the 48. He will lead the field down the pit lane. Will anybody else stay out? Does not appear that anybody will, so it's going to be a race off the pit lane for the lead. Blaine Keys, Jordan Lopez, Elijah Gordon, Daniel Bouchard, and points leader Ricky Stevenson, the top 5 coming down. And it's going to be a very busy pit lane here for this pit stop. Number 48 will lead the field down. This is a good time to just take fuel only, possibly, and get a little strategy. And I think that's what a couple guys are doing. I think Blaine Keys did it as well, the leader, going fuel only. So Blaine Keys will win the race off of the pit lane. Daniel Bouchard, Eric Almenhart, Elijah Gordon, and Alexander Rowe, the top 5. Couple new faces up there in the field, but it's still the 48 of Blaine Keys leading the NRLOA 500 here at the Michigan International Speedway. Let's go ahead and review the crash that brought out the first caution here at the Michigan International Speedway in the NRLOA 500. Let's just say that this crash could have been a lot worse than what it actually was. They were 4 wide, bunching up. Duthit came down on Adam Lewis, which actually saved John R. and Tristan Allen, those guys on the inside, from crashing. And Whitlock was unfortunately involved, an innocent victim from this one. The 78 with major damage, Adam Lewis in the outside wall hard, and the 18 of Donovan Duthit torn up in the 18. But that was all that occurred under this yellow flag, and thankfully it was only a 3-car crash. Going to replay this one in real time following Reagan Whitlock in the 78. He takes a hard hit to the outside wall. Rear end first, and you see the damage to that race car for Furniture Row Racing. Nathan Stapleton, the owner of this team, they have not had too good of a season between Reagan Whitlock and Ryan Madden, and it's not looking too good for him here at Michigan. On board, the number 78 of Reagan Whitlock for this incident. There's him go around here, through the corner, into the outside wall hard. That's just the way it goes sometimes, and that's the way it's gone this season very frequently. But we're going to keep on racing, and the number 48 of Blaine Keys leads the field for Hendrick Motorsports here in the NRLOA 500.
Just get home from school, you got nothing to do? Well then, turn on your computer and listen to the NRLOA podcast, where we bring you up to date on all things all stock car racing and NASCAR, and on your local short track near you. We'll have things such as Modified and Mock Series Corner, followed by PCS Rated WRLA, and so much more.
I think Elliott Sadler can probably win the race.
It's the NRLOA podcast every Monday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/MaxTheHedgehog77.
We are back here at the Michigan International Speedway for the 11th race in Season 6 of the NRLOA Chick-fil-A Cup Series, the NRLOA 500. And the number 48 of Blaine Keys, he has led every single lap so far, but we only had 2 laps under green before the caution came out. We will restart on lap 7 of this event. Daniel Bouchard second, Eric Almenhart, Jonathan King, Elijah Gordon, Alexander Rowe, Ricky Stevenson, Zachary Fitzwater, Jordan Lopez, and Ryan Madden. The top 9 with Alonso rounding out the top 10 in the number 10. Donovan Duthit went a lap down while repairing damage to his race car, but I do believe that the only driver that got knocked out was the number 22 of Adam Lewis. So 39 drivers on the racetrack, 38 of them on the lead lap coming to the restart. And that is officially the case. Adam Lewis is out in the number 22, but Donovan Duthit still in this thing, 1 lap down in the 18. Blaine Keys, Daniel Bouchard, Eric Almenhart, green flag back in the air here at Michigan, and Duthit is going nowhere in the 18. Hopefully all these guys get around him. This is not like a short track, however, where there's not enough room to not avoid a driver. We got room here in Michigan, a very wide racetrack, but still a slow car, and these guys wanting to get up front is not a good chemistry, so might want to watch for this 18, and these guys trying to get around him. Jesse Turner, Trey Bartow stuck behind the 18 right now, and he's blocking the inside lane here. That is not at all what Jesse Turner or any of these guys behind Turner want to see. I do believe they will get around the 18 just fine, but still, might want to watch for it. Somebody coming down the pit lane, and that is Hairgel Arvin Alonso, who might not have gotten the best of pit stops. He might have damage to his number 10. I saw some right side damage to his race car, but the race is still green, so it must not have been a major incident if, in fact, there was an incident. Blaine Keys still out front in the 48. Daniel Bouchard. How about Eric Almenhart? He won the first 2-miler of the season in California, and he's on the verge of winning the bigger 2-miler, the NRLOA 500, running third right now in the 15. Elijah Gordon, Ricky Stevenson, the top 5. See Zachary Fitzwater, he is moving his way up in the number 41. It's been a while since Fitzwater has won. Well, not too long, I guess you can consider Jesse Turner, but been over a season since Zachary Fitzwater has won a race in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Came at Texas in season number 5. I haven't really seen much of him in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series lately, but still, get a win, you're in the chase. And if you're in the chase, you got a 1 in 16 chance of winning the championship. Daniel Bouchard, in the ride that won the NRLOA 500 last season, will take the lead away from Blaine Keys on lap 9 of the race. It was Cameron Black that drove this ride last season, who won the NRLOA 500. Here comes Elijah Gordon in the 5. He has 1 career win here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, but he'd like to get a second one in one of the bigger races of this series. Number 5 is going to dive to the inside with Ricky Stevenson pushing him on the inside lane. And Stevenson showing a little bit of patience, but not too much, because he's going to go 3 wide for the lead as Elijah Gordon got the run to the inside of Bouchard. So it's side by side between our points leader and the Michigan native of Elijah Gordon. I keep on saying that he's a Michigan native because this is the race at Michigan. Duh. But Ricky Stevenson will lead lap number 10 here in the NRLOA 500. Here comes Ryan Madden in the 77. He's won a 2-miler race before that came at California in season number 5. Zachary Fitzwater, Anthony Lopez, Marty Johnson is on this inside lane here in the number 32 for Go Fast Racing. But out front, it's our points leader, Ricky Stevenson, in the number 38. And he's got a great chance at extending his points lead. He definitely would love to do so. He's been out front in the points basically the whole season. He's had a very good season, a very strong season, but lately he has been slipping. He still holds on to the points lead, but by only 2 points coming into this race, but a win would extend that points lead for our points leader, Ricky Stevenson. Ryan Madden for second to the inside of Blaine Keys. Keys will get the run on the outside and remain in the second position. Fitzwater, Anthony Lopez, Marty Johnson right behind these guys, looking to gain some momentum. Number 38 still out front. And it's Blaine Keys, our pole sitter, Ryan Madden, and the 72 of Anthony Lopez. Then the number 41, that is driven by Zachary Fitzwater, rounds out the top 5. Marty Johnson, Elijah Gordon, Daniel Bouchard, Alex NRLOA, and Jordan Lopez, the top 10 for the moment. Another Michigan native here is Noah Kars, who has never won before on Napa Fan, but he's come close in quite a few big races, and this is another one of those big races. We'll just have to see what Noah Kars can do as this race goes along, but he's right now in the top 15 with a great chance at possibly winning the NRLOA 500. Eli Bright up here, Chris Skinlart, Matt Dalio. He's already won this season, but he'd love to get another win. John Arndt won the first NRLOA 500, which was held at the Spartan Raceway. Of course, this is nothing like the Spartan Raceway. This is a mile longer and definitely a lot faster, but John Arndt has won this race before, and he is the only defending winner of the NRLOA 500 in the field. Hendrick Motorsports is doing pretty good here today. They got all their drivers in the top 17 at the moment, and that's a very good run for that 4-car team who has had their share of struggles in the owner's points this season. John Andrews, the owner of that team, definitely would love to see some success out of his drivers here today, and he is seeing it right now with Blaine Keys, Elijah Gordon, Matt Dalio, and John Arndt. All those guys very experienced drivers. Ryan Madden to the inside of Blaine Keys. Keys took it away from Stevenson. Now Madden is going to take it away from Keys on lap 15 of 50. This is definitely a long race. We're only on lap 15 of 50. It feels like I've been here for quite a while, but then again, I tried to record this race the first time, and the game crashed on me. So yeah, it was very frustrating because it took like 9 tries to actually get the opening correct, and once I got it correct, the game crashed. So yeah, I mean, this is the story of my life. It took me 45 minutes from the time I started recording to pretty much now to actually get this thing officially started. But you know what? We're here. This thing is going, and I do not believe we're going to have an issue with the game crashing this time. Ryan Madden out front, Marty Johnson, Blaine Keys, Anthony Lopez, the only rookie in the top 5. Elijah Gordon rounds out the top 5 in the number 5. And they're closing in on Donovan Duthit again, and hello, this is going to get interesting here. Duthit, a slow car on the racetrack, and our leaders are hitting him right now. That bunched up the field. Marty Johnson's going to lose second to Elijah Gordon, and number 5 seems pretty fast right now on this Hendrick-powered machine. Couple of winners back in here of Ricky Stevenson and Blaine Keys. You got Jordan Lopez, Eli Bright, and Alex NRLOA running up front. Trey Bartow in the 4. He's got a good season going for him right now. 3rd in the points coming into this race, only 10 points behind. And he has found his way into the top 15 here in the NRLOA 500. Expect to see the next cycle of pit stops to begin here shortly. It might be beginning right now, and it is Zachary Fitzwater. Jesse Turner down the pit lane. Jay Jefferson as well, so these guys are the first to come down, and I would expect the leaders to come down here very shortly. See these guys coming out onto the racetrack, and I do believe that the caution has come back out, and it has, so that's why the leaders did not come down that lap. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Turner and these guys got caught a lap down. And that's just terrible for those guys who came down the pit lane a lap before. They're going to get caught a lap down because of the caution coming out right at the wrong time. Not entirely sure what happened, but I do see significant damage to John Arndt's machine. I know he was running midway through the field without any damage earlier on, and I believe he might have got caught up with his teammate Matt Dalio in this crash. Alonso might have also had a piece of this one as well in the 10. He might have had a pretty big part in what happened under this caution. And a very unfortunate one for those guys. They were having good runs, but they're getting involved in this crash. You're going to see Turner stay out here in the 43. He is a lap down, but he's going to start at the front of the field, because he's going to actually gain his lap back as he passes the leaders this time. So he's going to need another quick caution to get back into this thing in the number 43. Anyways, Ryan Madden came down the pit lane, the leader, in the number 77. We will follow with him down the pit lane and see where he comes out in relation to everybody else. Number 77 does appear to have a pretty good pit stop. Marty Johnson not too far behind. Anthony Lopez. Jay Jefferson is on the tail end of the lead lap now, as he did get out ahead of the 77. So both Jesse Turner and Jay Jefferson will be starting ahead of our leader on the restart. But if they get passed by our leader, they're going to be back to being a lap down. Ryan Madden wins the race off the pit lane. He is going to restart first. Anthony Lopez, Marty Johnson, Eli Bright, and Daniel Bouchard, the top 5. Let's go ahead and review the crash that brought out the second caution here in the NRLOA 500 at Michigan. Donovan Duthit in the number 18. We saw him on the racetrack very slow, and these guys bunch up trying to get around him. Matt Delio thinks he has a hold of the inside. Does not. Ace Garcia is there, sends the 88 around right into his teammate John Arndt. And 2 very good drivers in this series involved in this crash, and 2 Hendrick drivers. And I would like to apologize to John Andrews for saying how good Hendrick Motorsports was doing in this race. And, you know, whenever I say something like that, boom, something negative happens to whoever I'm talking about. Matt Delio does slide down a little bit, but everybody avoids him, and everybody avoids the 24 of John Arndt as well. We're going to replay this one in real time, following the 88 of Matt Delio. And Ace Garcia spins him around, but it was Delio's fault coming down on the 23, and that's going to cause this accident involving 2 of the Hendrick Motorsports drivers. John Arndt and Matt Delio involved. That's just the way it is. You see Alonso here in the 10. He already has his damage as he's coming through the crash scene there. Anyways, Ryan Madden won the race off the pit lane, so he will restart in the first position when we restart after this commercial break from the Michigan International Speedway.
Rolling, Cody Smart and Emily Anderson bouncing off each other.
We are back here at the Michigan International Speedway to restart here in the NRLOA 500 for Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And this is going to be a very interesting restart. We got these guys starting on the inside, a lap down. Know that Donovan Duthit is very slow. But we also have a couple of guys who got caught a lap down under the, what was going to be the green flag cycle of pit stops. But caution came out right when these guys came in under the green flag. Jesse Turner, Jay Jefferson, they're on the tail end of the lead lap right now in front of our leader. And that means that our leader is boxed in here. And that could be a great benefit to these guys behind him trying to take the lead away. Ryan Madden leads the field in the 77. Anthony Lopez, Marty Johnson, Eli Bright, Daniel Bouchard, Elijah Gordon, Eric Almenhart, Trey Barta, Ricky Stevenson, and Ace Garcia, the top 10, coming to the restart here in the NRLOA 500. And you're going to see Duthit majorly slow down. He's going to hold up Alonso. My goodness, that was close. Bouchard almost ran right into the 10. Alonso's going to try to get to the outside of him here, but even Alonso is slow, and everybody's passing the 10. This madness out here was Duthit, who kind of caused that second crash. And if I were Duthit, I would just get off the racetrack and let these guys race. A major factor right now here in the NRLOA 500 is Donovan Duthit in the 18. Anyways, out front, it's the 72 of Anthony Lopez, who has gotten around the number 77, Ricky Stevenson, coming down the pit lane in the 38. They might not have packed enough fuel in that machine. That's a tough break for our points leader, who was having a great run going for him. But he's coming down the pit lane to fix an issue. But it's Anthony Lopez, who now has 2 lap-down machines in between him and Marty Johnson for the lead. That's great news for the rookie driver. Aiden Shepard, the owner of TriStar Motorsports. They have not had the best of seasons so far, but they are leading in the NRLOA 500. Let's not count out this guy. Trey Barto now in position to take the points lead, exiting this race. He won the Turkey Hill Series Championship in season number 3 last fall, so he knows how to do good in a consistent season, in the point standings. He knows how to get those points and just be consistent, and that is what Trey Barto has done this season. Here he is right now running in the 4th position, and he's got a great chance at moving his way towards the lead before the next cycle of pit stops in this race. Marty Johnson running 2nd. Jesse Turner is a lap down right now in the 43, but if he gets around Johnson and Lopez and the caution comes back out, Turner is back on the lead lap. That's how you'll work your way back on the lead lap here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. No lucky dog, no free pass. And as long as you're ahead of the leader, you're going to get your lap back. And anyways, see a lot of these guys starting to bunch up back in here. Jay Jefferson, he was caught a lap down under that cycle. And everybody's trying to pass him now. They almost went 4 wide, but Ace Garcia backed out of it, and that's a very smart move, especially considering what happened to Ace Garcia just a few laps ago, spinning Matt Delio. He knows that situation very well. He does not want it to happen again. Stuart Gratton and Cameron Garlington, Cameron Gaju's team there of JTG Doherty Racing, doing pretty solid right now. I believe both of their drivers are in the top 20, and in fact they are. And number 37 of Stuart Gratton, he also has a chance of taking the points lead now that Ricky Stevenson has had an issue. But Bartow might not surpass Gratton. He might not surpass Gratton in the points. It could be Bartow and Gratton tied for the points lead, exiting this race the way they're currently running. And both of those drivers definitely doing a great job. Anyways, Marty Johnson has taken the lead away, and this is kind of a hometown race for him, not too far away from the Michigan International Speedway's Marty Johnson. And he is right now leading the field in the NRLOA 500. Daniel Bouchard, Eli Bright. How about Eric Almenhart? How about Elijah Gordon going 3 wide? And the number 5, the Michigan native Elijah Gordon's going to take it away from the 72. Take the position away from the 72. That is for 5th. He's got Matt Tuck right behind him in the 42. Another close guy to the Michigan International Speedway. He lives in about the same area as Marty Johnson. Both of those guys, kind of a hometown race for those guys as well. Marty Johnson still out front in the 32. Daniel Bouchard, Eli Bright, Eric Almenhart, and now Elijah Gordon has moved his way into the top 5 in the number 5. Matt Tuck getting around Trey Bartow. And it's a stack up back here. Dane Ammon in the 51. Zachary Fitzwater's a lap down in the 41, but Ryan Madden, who was the leader on the restart, along with Gratton and Keys, mixed in with these guys a lap down, trying to move their way through the field. Garrett Senor in the 6. You know, he's now tied with Caleb Hoffman as the all-time winningest driver on Napa Fan. For the longest time, Garrett Senor was the all-time winningest driver on the channel. He wants to take that back from the 14, I can tell you that. And here in Michigan, this is actually, you know what? The reason why we have this race is because of Garrett Senor. Back in Season 3, when I let you guys sponsor the races, trying to get ideas for these races in the future, trying to get solid sponsors for each season, Garrett Senor named this first Michigan race the NRLOA 500. And I love the idea, and that's why this race is here right now. That's why it's longer than it normally would be. All because of this guy, Garrett Senor, who gave me the suggestion to name this thing the NRLOA 500, and I'm pretty sure he'd love to win it as well. Back out front, the number 32 of Marty Johnson still holds the lead. Might want to watch for Duthit again. The last time these guys tried to get around him, it did not work out too well for Matt Dalio and John Arndt. And these guys, they got to be careful getting around this 18. He is very slow on the racetrack, and even though this is a pretty big place, it's still sometimes very hard to avoid these slow guys on the racetrack. Marty Johnson is still out front in the number 32. Daniel Bouchard, the 13 of Eli Bright, Eric Almenhart, and now Matt Tuck has taken the 5th position away from Elijah Gordon. Jesse Turner, the only chance Turner has of winning this thing is getting his lap back and a caution coming out. So Turner, he wants to move his way up front and get around Marty Johnson. He might get the chance here because these guys are closing in on Donovan Duthit right now. Marty Johnson will lead the field to the inside of Donovan Duthit, so not too much of an issue for those guys. Eli Bright's going to get held up a little bit. Oh boy, that's close there. Turner's going to gain another position away from the 13, so that means he's going to be one car closer to getting his lap back. But Elijah Gordon might try to pass the 43, and Elijah Gordon is now to the inside of Eli Bright for the 4th position on the racetrack. I think, yeah. Eric Almenhart is up the 3rd. Bouchard and Johnson stay in their same positions, while it's Elijah Gordon running in 4th and Eli Bright holding on the 5th. He might take 4th on the outside lane from Elijah Gordon. But Marty Johnson in the number 32, he won the Meliello Smooth Fest at the beginning of the season. Of course, that's a 9-points event. But Marty Johnson, definitely a very good driver, leading the field here in the NRLOA 500 for Season 6. And here we go. Green flag pit stops for the first time today. Hopefully the caution will not come out while these guys are on the pit lane, because that's going to put a lot of guys a lap down if that in fact happens. So Barto, I think he was one of the first guys who came down the pit lane here. We'll see where he comes out in relation to everybody else. Definitely is going to get interesting for the number 4, for the 47 of Cameron Garlington. A lot of these guys, they can take strategy. We saw it at Pocono with Caleb Hoffman right near the end of that race. Hoffman took fuel only. Somebody blew up, I do believe, because I see smoke on the racetrack, but no caution is out. The green flag is still out here in Michigan. But anyways, we saw what happened at Pocono, and Caleb Hoffman, he took fuel only on the final stop. That's what got him the win. We have that same scenario right now. These guys coming in without 17 laps to go on that final pit stop, which is going to happen just a few laps before the finish. You can take fuel only and get out ahead of everybody. And we saw it work at Pocono. Why not try it here at Michigan? I think Dane Ammon won the race off the pit lane of the guys who came in the first time around, but the leaders did not come down until a couple laps later. So Ryan Madden, the 77, he was one of those leaders. It's actually Marty Johnson. I completely forgot that Marty Johnson was the leader. I thought it was the number 77 of Ryan Madden, but I was incorrect about that. Bouchard will win the race off from Marty Johnson of those guys who came down. Will he come out on top in relation to these guys here of Dane Ammon and Trey Barto? Ammon and Barto have all the speed on the racetrack right now, and they might close in on our leaders, but it's going to be Daniel Bouchard in the 11 who is going to be the leader after the cycle of pit stops. But these guys closing in fast. Ammon and Barto, they're going to be part of this lead battle before this race is over. Let me tell you that much. Marty Johnson still have a chance. And Jesse Turner, he is fighting hard to get back on the lead lap. And he might very well do so. But Dane Ammon's going to take it 3 wide for the second position. And Ammon making it 3 wide entering turn number 1. These guys better be careful, and they will. Now Ammon is closing in on Daniel Bouchard for the lead. Will we have our third part-time winner this season in only 11 races? We might very well have it with Dane Ammon in the number 51. Tyler O'Reilly, the owner of Rick Ware Racing. They would love to get a win here in one of the biggest races of the season. Barto up to third. Allman, another part-timer, trying to get his second win of the season. And Marty Johnson rounds out the top 5. Here we go. Turner is going to try to take his lap back in the number 43. How about Turner? How about Barto? He's going to make it 4 wide. Oh boy, they almost crashed, and Trey Barto has gone to the point here in the NRLOA 500. How about the move there by the veteran driver of Trey Barto? That's going to close the door for the 15, and for the 32, they're closing in fast on Dane Ammon as Bouchard falls outside the top 5. Barto saw the opportunity as Jesse Turner got to the inside of our 2 leaders. And 4 wide for the lead for Trey Barto. He's out front with 15 laps to go. Now 14 to go here at the Michigan International Speedway. The veteran driver of Trey Barto out front. Marty Johnson trying to take second away from Eric Almenhart, the part-timer who won the first 2-miler event this season. He might get the second one as well. But we still have another set of pit stops in this race before it's over, and that's definitely going to affect who wins this race. Remember what happened at Pocono with Caleb Hoffman at the end of that race. He went fuel only on the final stop. There was only a few laps to go. He was able to beat everybody off the pit lane and win that race to lock himself into the chase. You might see somebody back in here try that. Maybe an Elijah Gordon, Daniel McMillan, Julius Anderson. Those guys might try to do that and possibly try to get this win. Stuart Gratton back in here as well. Garrett Senor. A lot of these guys have a chance at possibly working strategy to their favor to win the NRLOA 500. Almenhart tried to get around Trey Barto, was not able to do so. And Jesse Turner is back on the lead lap after all that fighting that he did. Turner wants to see the caution come out right now so he can get back on the lead lap officially and possibly fight for the win. Of course, it's late in the going, but Turner has a chance. Turner has a slim chance. He just needs the caution to come out. Barto still out front in the number 4, holding off Eric Almenhart, Daniel Bouchard, Dane Ammon on this inside lane. Don't look now. Here comes Zachary Fitzwater, who is on the lead lap, by the way. He came down the pit lane in the first, I guess you can say the first green flag cycle, but the caution came out right when that green flag cycle started. But he is on the lead lap battling with these guys right now, so he might be on a little bit of a different strategy here in the number 41. He's bringing Matt Tuck along with him, but Fitzwater, he almost went a lap down, and I believe he did go a lap down, but he might have stayed out on the racetrack because I think he came in along with the rest of those guys, which doesn't really make much sense because if he came in with the rest of those guys under the second cycle of pit stops, he probably should have made it down the pit lane by now. So I really don't know with Zachary Fitzwater right now, but I do know this. He is on the lead lap battling for position. Back out front, we're closing in on some lap traffic here. Cody Sill and Matt Dalio, a couple of guys already locked into the chase, getting in the way of our leaders. Number 4, Trey Bartow will pass them. Eli Bright is all of a sudden in the second position. And it's Daniel Bouchard, Marty Johnson, and Matt Tuck on the inside lane. But how about Fitzwater? I mean, he was caught a lap down at some point, I do believe, but he might have actually stayed on the lead lap, which might be why he is on the lead lap right now. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there to Fitzwater, but I can assure you that he is leading, or on the lead lap, I should say, in the number 41. Excuse me there. Trey Bartow has put Jesse Turner a lap down again, and that's good news for Bartow, as he's going to have a buffer between him and second place Daniel Bouchard, who's going to take second away from Eli Bright. Marty Johnson with help from Eric Almenhart on this inside lane. Matt Tuck is here as well in the 42. Dane Ammon, Zachary Fitzwater, Elijah Gordon not too far behind. You got these guys back in here, McMillan, Madden, Caleb Hoffman. He's on the lead lap. He's got a chance. You know what? Hoffman, he could do the same exact thing that he did at Pocono to win this thing. And you know what? Why not? You're already in the chase. Go for it, man. And that's my alert letting me know that I need to take the trash out. If you can hear that. You probably can, because I got my phone up quite a bit. Anyways, for the lead, Daniel Bouchard to the inside of Trey Bartow as Turner got back around the number 4. That put Bartow on the outside lane. They're side by side for the lead with 8 laps to go. Bartow on the outside lane trying to get it to stick. Eric Almenhart in the 15 also with a chance here. And I think this 11's going to take it away from Trey Bartow, or will he? Bartow getting a run the outside lane. They're going to be side by side, 3 wide for the lead. Eric Almenhart 3 wide to the inside of Bartow and Bouchard, but Bartow will lead lap 43 here in the NRLOA 500. It's 7 laps to go here at Michigan. Eric Almenhart will take the lead away from Daniel Bouchard and Trey Bartow. Eli Bright in the 13 does not get a good run through the corner. Bouchard will stay in the second position as Almenhart pulls away. But we still have another cycle of pit stops left to go in this race. And I'm telling you, I mean, we sold it at Pocono. There's no reason at all why someone will not try it. Fuel only on the pit stop, get out ahead of everybody else, and steal the win. And I'm looking at you, Caleb Hoffman. You did it at Pocono. Why not do it again? Zachary Fitzwater down the pit lane for his final stop. He's going to go a lap down in the number 41 as the leaders pass him. And Eric Almenhart leads the field right now in the number 15. Right behind him, it's Daniel Bouchard and Marty Johnson, Matt Tuck and Elijah Gordon. Not too far behind, rounding out the top 5. Here we go. The cycle is going to begin right here. Lap 45 of 50. I believe Matt Tuck's going to lead the field down. Turner also coming down, but he's now a lap down. And it's Matt Tuck, Elijah Gordon, Trey Bartow, Dane Ammon coming down the pit lane here. All you need to do really is fuel only on this stop. We're going to see if any of these guys do so. So Trey Bartow in the 4 coming down. He's got the farthest pit stall of these guys who just came down the pit lane. We'll see if he goes fuel only. He's not. He's going to take some tires here in the number 4. And I believe he's going to lose the race off the pit lane. Matt Tuck, I believe he might have gone fuel only in the number 42. Anyways, the other guys should be coming down here. Eric Almenhart, Daniel Bouchard, Marty Johnson, Elijah Gordon. Hoffman, he's trying to stay out here. You know, this is exactly what happened at Pocono. Caleb Hoffman, he stayed out a couple laps longer than everybody else, and then on that final stop, he just took fuel only. He's now the leader here at Michigan in the number 14. Will Caleb Hoffman possibly surprise us all and do exactly what he did at Pocono? All he needs to do is fuel only on the final stop. That is all he needs to do. We'll just have to see if he does it. So Almenhart will not win the race off from Elijah Gordon and Daniel Bouchard. Gordon wins the race off of these guys, so Gordon with a chance of winning this thing. But where are the rest of the guys on the racetrack? Here's Matt Tuck in the 42. He was the first guy off of the rest of the guys who came in the lap before those guys. but I do not believe he's going to get out ahead of Elijah Gordon in the 5. So Gordon out ahead in the number 5 machine in the NRLOA 500. The 42 is way too far behind at the moment to win this race. Blaine Keys, I believe, has stayed out another lap. No, he actually came down along with Caleb Hoffman. Will Hoffman, or did Hoffman go fuel only? He did. He did it again, guys. Caleb Hoffman is done with his pit stop. He took fuel only again. Blaine Keys, not too far behind, but will he beat Elijah Gordon off the pit lane? No, he won't. And Elijah Gordon has taken the lead here in the NRLOA 500. Lap 48 of 50. Daniel Bouchard quite a ways behind the number 5. And Elijah Gordon won it on the pit lane. But it's still 2 laps to go. Bouchard might close in here. You got Matt Tuck here as well running 3rd. These guys might have a chance at getting around this 5. I thought Caleb Hoffman would beat those guys off, but nonetheless, still a great run for Caleb Hoffman. And he went with the fuel-only strategy, but just not enough, because I think these guys also went fuel-only as well. And Elijah Gordon out front right now with 2 laps to go on the NRLOA 500. How about this one for Elijah Gordon, the Michigan native, his hometown racetrack, and one of the biggest races of the season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Will the number 5 pull it off, or will Bouchard close in on this final lap? It's the white flag here in the NRLOA 500 at the Michigan International Speedway. Elijah Gordon leads it with 1 lap to go. Hendrick Motorsports already has Blaine Keys and Matt Dalio in the chase, and if Elijah Gordon can pull it off here today, they're going to have 3 guys in the chase for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season number 6. And John Anders, the owner of this team, is going to be the first team owner to win 3 races this season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and it's going to be Elijah Gordon in the NRLOA 500 at the Michigan International Speedway. Rounding the final corner, the Michigan native pulls it off at the Michigan International Speedway. Elijah Gordon wins the NRLOA 500 in Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Daniel Bouchard 2nd. Matt Tuck will be 3rd. Eric Almenhart, Dane Ammon, the top 5. And Elijah Gordon is in the chase for Season number 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series with this victory in the NRLOA 500. That race went green flag racing from about lap 20, I say, to the finish. So a very long green flag run to end this one here in Michigan. But Elijah Gordon did not mind that, because he's going to come home with the victory here in the NRLOA 500. And I believe he went fuel only on that final stop. And I think that's what won the 5 this race. So congratulations to Elijah Gordon, hometown hero, getting it done in his home state. But a very interesting race near the end, and Elijah Gordon pulls it off for his 2nd career Chick-fil-A Cup Series victory, his 1st in over 2 seasons here, and a long losing streak broken for the number 5 of Elijah Gordon, and his luck has finally turned. Last season he drove the 24, and he just had a terrible season, let me tell you that. But this time, things are a little bit different, and Elijah Gordon wins the NRLOA 500 to lock himself into the chase for Season number 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Daniel Bouchard, Matt Tuck, Eric Almenhart, Dane Ammon, the top 5. Marty Johnson, Eli Bright, Trey Bartow, Zachary Fitzwater, and Caleb Hoffman, the top 10. Good run for Stewart Haas Racing. 3 of their drivers in the top 10, and definitely good runs for those Stewart Haas guys. Trey Bartow was definitely one of the stronger guys in this race. Hoffman got a top 10 finish there near the end because he went fuel only on that final stop. He tried to get the win like he did at Pocono. Just did not work out for him like it did on Monday. But anyways, take a look at the rest of the results here for the NRLOA 500. Only 2 guys failed to finish, Alexander Rowe and Adam Lewis. And they had some other guys finish a lap down or more. Jesse Turner, he came close to possibly getting back on the lead lap. He needed a caution, but it never came out. And only 2 cautions in the NRLOA 500, which is great, especially considering the season we've had. A lot of the races, especially earlier on in the season, had a lot of cautions in them. But this one only had 2. And definitely a great thing to see. And it was a great race, especially for the winner, Elijah Gordon. Anyways, in case you haven't noticed by now, the comments are back on. I know I said that I was not going to turn them back on, but I figured, you know what? You guys are very civil, very respectful people. I should not really expect too much of an issue out of you guys, so you know what? I'm going to open them back up. A lot of you guys have been asking for so long, and you know what? Time to open them back up, so go ahead, comment away, just be respectful. I'm going to be very hard on guys who aren't. So just keep that in mind. Respect is the key, and if you don't follow that rule, there's going to be consequences. Let me just tell you that. But hey, a lot of you guys are very easy going. You guys know how to respect each other very well, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. So yeah, go ahead, comment away if you want to. You don't have to. I don't care. Like the video, whatever you want to do, just do it. I don't care anymore. I really just don't care anymore, you know. I'm 18 years old now. I'm an adult. Wow, that just sunk in very hard. But hey, you know what? I'm still here, and I'm still having fun doing the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Season number 6. And I'm sure Elijah Gordon had fun today as well. The winner of the NRLOA 500 for Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And for the first time ever, an NRLOA member has won this race. Elijah Gordon in victory lane here at Michigan. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Here are the point standings for Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series after Race 11. And that is it for me here today from the Michigan International Speedway. Tomorrow we're going to be racing at Road America for the first road course race of the season. And then Saturday morning we go to Daytona. So 3 days in a row we got races here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And those chase spots are going to be filling up very quickly. Elijah Gordon's going to be one of them. And just have to see who else gets into the chase in these next few races. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching once again. And I will see you guys later.